welcome to another brand new episode of Undisputed Nerds Podcast. I am your host, Zane, aka Zane Senpai. Do you know what's really weird, actually? I'm going to go into a little tangent. I should be Zane Senpai, not Senpai Zane. But I'll take that up with my publicist.
What is this? Hang on. I've called you Senpai this entire time. Like, never once have I referred to you as Zane, even though I know it's in your name. I've never called you Zane. So that's a shocking revelation to say that you want Zane.
I know. I'm blowing minds.
Also, when did you get a publicist?
I need one, obviously.
Yeah, no kidding, Mr. Multi-Podcast. What's going on with you?
Even so, welcome to another brand new episode. As always, I am joined by my co-host. I'm joined by my co-host, Gentleman Gamer, also known as GG.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Radio Land. How am I? I'm good, thank you. I'm very good, thank you. It's been. I feel like I'm cooking like a roast chicken right now because we're in a heat wave in the United Kingdom where we live. Where we both live in the same country, not me and Senpai live together. At least not yet, anyway. The night is still young. But, like, man, it's so hot over here. It's crazy.
It is humid.
It is.
Yeah, it is muggy.
Go through all the English expressions that nobody else in the world will understand. Moist, damp.
Ooh.
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 Oh, yes.
Get the biscuits out.
Senpai, just to point out, guys, in the heat, Senpai's lost his mind. Like, that is definitely what's happened. There's no two ways around it. So, I'll try and man the ship for him, but, it's steering towards rocks already.
There may need to be a mutiny at some point. You steer the ship?
Oh, you want me to steer the ship? Yeah. How are you, Senpai? I should have asked how you are. That's very rude.
Oh, let me just sit back a little bit. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Just a little muggy. Yeah. Had 2 showers today because I can't cope.
2 shower Senpai. That's what you should be known as from now on. Ladies and gentlemen, I think what we're discovering right now is that Senpai is something of a horrific dictator who lives in what I can only describe as affluence. He's got his own publicist. He has 2 showers a day. Uses all the water. He just leaves the tap running as well when he's done. He doesn't even bother turning it off. This man is.
I'm a madman.
This man is destroying the planet.
They call me a madman.
This is the weirdest opening to a podcast we've ever done. He literally said to me before filming, he just went, just make it natural. Just make it natural between the two of us, like we're having a conversation. This is what we actually talk like, people.
And you're listening, which we absolutely love.
You assume they're listening. They might have turned off by now. If you're still listening, thank you. Thank you so much.
Anyways, shall we roll into some news?
If you are listening and you are enjoying this insane rant that we've been going on, but if you've listened to our previous podcasts and you've enjoyed, please just, I said it last week, I'll say it again, just share it amongst some of your friends, maybe your family, just pass it along so that people can literally hear our insanity all over the world. That's my plan, is to basically have
during a heat wave.
During a heat wave, having our mad ramblings spread throughout the world. So, if you know any friends who are interested in nerdy things, or just 2 blokes in the UK slowly losing their mind in a box of heat, then, just pass it along.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love sweating from my beard. It is a fantastic experience whilst recording.
And if you want a close-up on that beard sweat, it's readily available in our Patreon.
Okay, let's move on to some news, yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Alrighty. So, first things first, our boy Paul Bettany. Our boy. He has recently mentioned that his contract for Marvel projects is up.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, I left that hanging, didn't I? Sorry.
A little bit. Do you think we'll ever get our questions answered about Silver or White Vision?
Yeah, White Vision. Yes, of course we will. The one thing that you have to realise right now about this conversation and about what we're talking about with Paul Bettany is after WandaVision, Paul Bettany's a massive troll. He is the biggest troll ever. So for those of you who are not in the know, Paul Bettany, Paul Bettany? What was that? Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany. He dropped this like massive tease before WandaVision. I believe I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but I believe in one of the interviews he said, "Oh, in this WandaVision series, I've actually worked with an actor that I've always wanted to work with on screen, and the chemistry between us was electric." And as you can imagine, guys, that set the rumour mill ablaze. I almost swore then.
Yes.
And then what did it turn out to be? It turned out to be himself as Vision, because there was a White Vision and there was regular Vision. So, yes, he's a troll, man. And, like, I don't... Look, Marvel are going to throw money at him to return as Vision. They've set it up. It's going to happen. I don't believe this is a real thing, and I think we should all move on with our lives immediately.
Fair enough. Moving on.
What do you think? You must agree with me on that.
Yeah, they can't just leave that hanging. He's got... They'll, again, like you said, either renegotiate a new contract or something along those lines. I believe they did something similar for Robbie Downey Jr. when it came to the first Spider-Man film with Tom Holland.
You call him Robbie now, are you?
Did I call him Robbie?
You said Robbie Downey Jr.
Yeah, he's one of the boys, isn't he?
Yeah,
Robbie.
They're on a very familiar basis, guys. Senpai. They share the same publicist.
Me and Rob, we get on like a house on fire.
I'll tell you what, me and Bobby, gee, honestly.
You should see him with the other lads. Hey.
Oh my god, I tell you, honestly, that guy, he's crazy. It's crazy.
Gluten-free pizzas all around, he says.
Yeah. He has to, otherwise he'll relapse. I went dark.
Yeah, no.
That's being cut immediately.
Moving swiftly on, though. Thor: Love and Thunder has been wrapped up.
It has. It has. So,
you excited for this?
Yeah, I'm never sure if you're going to carry on after that.
I'm never sure if you're going to say something. This is the problem with like.
You. I feel bad because I feel like I've interrupted you too much. I've got a big mouth. Yeah, I did you see the set photo that Taika Waititi released?
Yeah.
So I had two immediate thoughts to it, but I really want to know what you thought first.
So first of all, I went out and bought Ross Edgley's Guide to Fitness, considering that was the trainer of Chris Hemsworth for this one film. So I went out and bought this. Yeah, if you check out his Instagram.
Wait, the picture I've seen where it's Taika Waititi dressed as Korg talking to that other guy, is that the one you mean?
Oh, that's not Ross Edgley, but on Chris Hemsworth's Instagram, he's been trained by Ross Edgley for this film.
Yes, okay, got you. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, you and I did think exactly the same thing, which was Chris Hemsworth looks even bigger than he has before. He's massive. Like I was like, his arms look ridiculous. He's like rock juicing. You know, it's like it's that big. Like it was very emasculating.
And then you've got Taika Waititi pulling the same pose, like.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird to see him with like Korg on top of his head.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, as someone who's always liked bodybuilding and things of that nature, I think this is he's probably as big as he's been since.
Go on. No, I keep talking. I thought you meant you. I was like, as someone who's really into bodybuilding, I'm like, That was a revelation to me.
Oh no, I do enjoy bodybuilding. Like I follow Jay Cutler and things like that. I do enjoy Mr. Olympia and stuff. But basically,
up on that one?
but what I was just saying is, looking at his physique over the years, I think the first Thor movie and possibly the first Avengers movie was probably his mass size, his biggest. And then as the years have gone on, especially with Thor Ragnarok, he was a lot more leaner. Obviously, he still had a great physique, but he was more of the leaner sort of category to opposed to the giant mass sort of categories.
Huge, like bulk, like
22-inch pythons. Yeah, as they say.
Yes. He was very like. If you look at the way that it works, he was in first Thor and Avengers. He was very much Hulk Hogan. When he got to Ragnarok, he was more Paul Hogan, and that's that's how it works.
Terry Hogan.
Terry Hogan. You know Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee. You know who he is. Come on.
Okay, yeah. That's on a scale, is that our new scale? Is it on a scale of
on a scale of Hogan? That's what it's gonna be. Yeah. Where does he fit on the Hogan scale? Is he full Hulk or is he slightly Paul?
Is he slightly Mick?
I'm going to Mick Hogan, yeah. I'm going to look up some other famous Hogans in between these podcasts, and then we'll work out how we can scale it. But yeah, that's very much that's going to be the Hogan scale from now on, guys. Is how hench someone is. Is he Hulk? Is he Paul? Where does he fit on the Hogan scale?
I can't wait for like the new James Bond movie to come out, and then we could scale Daniel Craig if he's. Do you think he'll be Hogan?
Hogan.
Hogan.
Hode or Hogan? I don't know. that was Thor in Endgame. He was Hode or Hogan in that one. No, I think he's going to be. I think Daniel Craig is more on the Paul Hogan side in this in No Time to Die. You know? Yeah. Or at least he started off as Hulk, and when the film was originally supposed to be released, and it's taken so long that he's now.
Now he's Paul.
Yeah. But no, I speaking about Love and Thunder, I'm super excited for this film. Like, it's gonna be great. I'm worried. I'm a little bit concerned that it might be overhyped because nobody was really expecting much from Ragnarok, and then it turned out to be the best Thor film and one of the best Marvel films that they've done. And so it does put a lot of pressure on Taika Waititi's shoulders. I think he can. I think he can pull it off. Plus, I love the idea of them going with Jane as Thor. I think that's great. Yeah. Like, I'm super excited to see what they do with it. And Natalie Portman looks super hench for that as well, actually. If you see some of the sequences from it.
I think at the same time as well, I'm kind of interested to see what he does with the Guardians. I feel like they need a sort of resurgence because, for me, Volume 2 wasn't that fantastic.
It had some good moments in it, and it introduced Mantis, who was a great character. So I'm happy for that. I really like Kurt Russell. But I don't like the idea of Ego being a Celestial. I didn't enjoy it, or being. It was nice how they fit it in to being Peter's dad. It's mixed for me, man. It's mixed for me. There's stuff about it I really like. There's stuff about it that I didn't like. To me, it felt like they just kind of like they paper machéed on like a new bad guy, and then it was just the same Guardians instead of it being like a new reinvention kind of. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. There's just something about Volume 2 that you can't put your fingers on. It's like meh.
Yeah. In other news, Joker 2 script is being written by Todd Phillips, who was the director of the first one.
I wasn't expecting you to say that as the news. That's interesting. Okay, cool.
Sorry.
Let's be clear. We've talked about Joker on this channel before.
Yes.
I have nothing against Joker. I felt like it was a gangster movie with Joker slapped over the top. I will say that every single time that this comes up. It's fine. Todd Phillips, I guess for consistency's sake, him writing a second one is fine. It didn't need to be done though. This does not need to be done. They don't need to do this. It's pointless.
It's just more money.
I mean, that's yeah. I mean, ultimately, that's what the movie industry is. That's why they make movies, is to make money. But at the same token, this Joker movie does not need. I mean, they don't need a sequel to it. They really don't. It doesn't. It doesn't fit in. What are they gonna do? Like, what's the plot about? How do you do it? How do you do a Joker movie where he is established as Joker? Like, they have established him as being Joker, and he has no Batman.
Yeah.
Are you going to introduce Batman? Are you going to do another? You're going to put another actor in the suit again?
I think they'll use an analog. I think they would do an analog. Like, they'll have like Wildcat or Green Arrow or.
That's terrible. Like, what? Oh man! Oh, Senpai, you're trying to make me rant. Stop it.
Should we move on?
We can. The Joker is not. The Joker is the arch enemy of Batman. That is his purpose. His whole character is driven by his desire to play games with Batman. That is the whole point of him. After a certain point, whatever you want to look at it in the timeline, without Batman, it's a pointless movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, do not put in Green Arrow or some shaz like that.
Or Jaffa Cake.
That's my avoiding swearing, guys, because Senpai doesn't like me to swear on the podcasting.
Emma Stone denied that she's in Spider-Man No Way Home.
It was interesting that this was in the news because I thought that she denied it previously, and I was under the impression it was because she's pregnant that she wasn't going to do it. I thought that had come out a long time ago. I mean, she died anyway, didn't she? And sorry, spoilers for Amazing Spider-Man 2, but she died in Amazing Spider-Man 2. So
yeah,
I mean, unless she comes back as an alternative Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, I think the only other way is like if massive theory thrown around here is that if No Way Home takes place before Amazing somehow in between Amazing Spider-Man 2, because you'd have to have Jamie Foxx become Electro, but obviously not a lot. I don't know. Either way,
I don't care enough. I appreciate Gwen Stacy's history with Spider-Man, and I appreciate what she represents to him in the comic world. In film, she has been handled quite poorly. The only reason Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield worked on screen was because they were dating at the time. So the chemistry was super real, which made it super good. It's just a shame that the rest of the film was terrible. I don't care. Like, there's not enough. Like, this is what's concerning me about Far From Home. Sorry, No Way Home. There's too much stuff, man. There's you're trying to shoehorn in. It's classic Sony. It is classic Sony. This is what they do. They just shove as much stuff as they can into the fan, and then hope that the thing will keep running and just mince everything through. And then, that's a weird analogy I've used. I don't know why I've used that analogy, guys. I don't know where I'm going with it. But they throw as much stuff as they can against the wall and just see what sticks. And it's terrible. I'm really surprised this is Avi Arad again, just going like, no, we should do it this way. Like, shut up, Abby. Shut up. Get back in your box. It's not 2003 anymore.
Yeah. I don't know, because at the same time, like, I read something recently that Tom Holland said that this is supposed to be his like contractually last Marvel movie, but he's happy to do more.
Yeah,
of course he would be.
He's friends with Bob Iger, isn't he? He's cried on the phone to him to make Spider-Man.
I was just gonna say. I mean, if you could call up your boss and cry and say like, "Don't do this."
Yeah, that's how I've still got my job. The amount of times I've shed tears. Please, no, I've got a family.
But yeah, who knows? Like, a part of me does wonder because, again, historically speaking, third Spider-Man movies haven't been that great. So I wonder if they are kind of like, we're gonna put all the gravy on this, roast potatoes, everything.
Watch how smug I am. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 3 was terrible. Also, technically, isn't Far From Home technically the third Spider-Man film?
Oh, counting Civil War as the first?
Yeah.
I mean...
literally... His origin in the MCU is literally in Civil War.
I was going to say, how long is the screen time in Civil War?
Like 20 minutes? 25 minutes?
I was going to say, it's not really long for a main character, is it?
Remember, Bobby Downey Jr. goes to Queens and meets Aunt May and tastes some of her delicious nut cake.
Yeah. Yeah, he told me about that.
Well, that's what happens. That's part of the film.
I know. I saw it. And then he texted me and he was like, I was round Aunt May's, weren't I?
Oh, I thought you meant me. I thought you meant I told you about it. I was like, what? Yeah, good old Bobby.
Good old Bob.
They can't
that's
afford
been
to,
news.
They can't afford to lose Tom Holland, just for the record. He's too good as Spider-Man. I think that his contract will probably end, and Sony will do a lot of stuff with him because they're talking about aren't they talking about shoehorning in Venom and all the other Sony properties into it? You know, with the must-see Craven movie that everyone's itching to watch. But I think they're gonna. Sony will probably do their own thing with Spider-Man for a bit, and then realise that they don't know what they're doing, and then go back to Kevin Feige and go fix it. And if you want to call me a Marvel fanboy, call me a Marvel fanboy. But Spider-Man is better now as part of the MCU than he ever has been. And I will say that even better than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2. Come at me, nerd base.
Hear that silence, because everyone knows Andrew Garfield was better.
Moving on.
Jupiter's Legacy.
You saved the saltiness for the end, didn't you?
I know. Jupiter's Legacy has been cancelled at Netflix. This news came by Variety. Real sad. Really sad. None of the actors' contracts have been renewed. There was I believe, a tweet from Mark Miller that went on to say they'll be doing a spin-off for Super Crooks, which is based on sort of villains set in the same universe as Jupiter's Legacy, but sadly, no season 2.
This really confused me. Really confused me. So, for those of you who have not listened to the previous episodes, both of us are very big fans of the series Jupiter Legacy. It came out of nowhere, and we both enjoyed it. Not speaking for you, Senpai, I apologise.
No, go ahead.
I believe the consensus is we both really, really enjoyed it and thought it was an excellent series, and we were excited for season 2. And from what I have seen, obviously, it critically got panned. But it's one of those classic things on Rotten Tomatoes where it's critically panned, and then the audience score is very good. From what I have seen, it was doing extremely well on Netflix. It had been number 1 for at least 3 weeks in a row, I think, on Netflix in the US. As far as I could tell, numbers were all really good. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter sometimes what the critics think. It's all about how it performs. And I was under the impression it was performing very well. So to find out it had been cancelled is very disappointing because, man, there was some really good stuff that was coming up. If it followed the comic book, which I don't know if you ever read or not, Senpai, but man, there was some good stuff coming up in the next lot. And I was really, really excited to. I was really excited to see. Can I spoil some of it for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was really excited to see the death of the Utopian. That's what I was really excited to see, because he dies in the most brutal way in the comics. Absolutely brutal. I was really excited to see his daughter's arc to redemption.
Sure.
And and also his son goes super evil, because he does go super evil in the books. I was excited for all of it. It was, Miss Liberty dies in the most horrific way in the books as well, by the way, Senpai, so you might want to check that out. But she gets skewered about 50 times. It's horrible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm shocked at this, to be honest with you. I'm really surprised by it. And a spin-off in the villains. I thought they might be spinning it off and doing Jupiter's Circle, which is the prequel, which is where it's all in the Golden Age. But I guess they're not doing that. So it doesn't look very. I will say this: it doesn't particularly look good for Netflix's faith in the Millerverse. That the first thing they've done has been cancelled. It does concern me quite a bit for that.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I was pretty gutted. Like you said, I really enjoyed the first season. I know from other people that I know who've watched it, they kind of found the pace a bit hit and miss. So I can understand that. Especially, like, I think the other thing that hurt this quite a lot is we had WandaVision, then we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then we also had Invincible. I know it wasn't.
No, it's still worth mentioning.
I know it's not live action, but still, it was probably just as popular. So we had the first part of the year. It was just superhero after superhero stuff, TV show. And I think with this, because I don't know if it's because of the caliber compared to those other shows, or because of the pacing compared to those shows. I don't know if that's what put people off, and that was the downfall. Which, again, is a shame, because there is some great material there. Maybe not at first glance, but when you peel it back, it has a great story to tell.
It really did. Again, we've covered it on the show before. We really enjoyed Jupiter's Legacy. I loved it so much that the week after I watched it, I went out and read the entire, I think it was 12-issue run of Jupiter's Legacy, from page to page, and I adored it. It's brilliant. And yeah, I was absolutely shocked that they cancelled it, especially considering it seemed to be doing really well on Netflix. That's the thing that surprised me the most, is that it was a show that was actually doing well, and Netflix normally give it at least 2 seasons before they can them. So yeah, very, very, very disappointing. Very disappointing. But there you go. Speaking of superhero shows, should we have a conversation regarding Loki, which is coming up this week?
It is.
Segue. Perfect segue, guys. Look at that.
What a pro.
What can I say? Well, if I could just get down not interrupting you whilst you talk, then I'll be 100% on top. I'll be up there with Bobby Downey Jr.
You'll be in the Hogan scale by next week.
I was going to say the Hogan scale. Oh man, I think I think currently I'm Horace Hogan scale. Like, I'm kind of like that.
Horace
Hogan. It was his nephew in WCW, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Gosh,
yeah,
what a callback.
What can I say? That's what I bring to the table. Terrible wrestling callbacks.
Okay, so Loki predictions.
What's going to happen in the Loki show? Yay!
Have you got any burning predictions to start us off with, or shall I?
Okay, I'm jumping on the train immediately. It's a train that's been running, and this was created by New Rockstars, so shout out to them. But I am working under this assumption. So this is not something that they said, but it ties into what they were talking about with WandaVision. So there was a big thing that they were talking about on New Rockstars about Mephisto being in WandaVision. I think he is in some form, in some way. I think he is going to turn up in Loki, and I'm doubling down on this, and I'm probably going to be wrong. So it's on film. I think he's going to be played by Richard E. Grant. I really do.
Yeah.
Richard E. Grant is confirmed in the casting on this. He's perfect for Mephisto. He'd be an amazing Mephisto. I want to see Richard E. Grant as Mephisto. Make it happen, Marvel. Get your stuff together. Make it happen. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Probably female Loki as well is going to happen.
Yeah. That was on my list as well. Yeah.
So the Time Variance Authority. So I guess I don't really know too much about the TVA. I know. So obviously we know, right, that as a result of Endgame, Loki's been knocked out of time because he changed or fundamentally altered the shape of time because he was supposed to die and he never did.
Yeah.
So the question is he going to be working for the TVA to fix time? or is he a prisoner of them trying to escape them? I feel like he's going to be a prisoner of them trying to escape them. And this is probably what's going to shatter open the multiverse. Because obviously we've already had Scarlet Witch doing her, fracturing of it with all of her power.
Sure. Yeah.
I think him trying to... Because we've already had this thing where he's like... oh, God, what's that famous guy who stole stuff and then disappeared?
DB Cooper.
That's the one. Yeah. They've already had the DB Cooper clip. Where it seems like he's being sent to Asgard as well. It seems like he's catching the Bifrost out of the plane.
Yeah.
But like it's almost as if he's on the run. He's trying to escape. So I'm wondering if he escapes the TVA and he's hopping dimensions to get away from them. And every time he hops, it breaks open the dimension.
So you're saying this is probably going to be a catch me if you can sort of...
I'm saying that this is going to be... I think this is going to be the perfect combination of Catch Me If You Can and the 1990s show Sliders.
See, I thought for a second there you were going to say...
Quantum Leap.
Oh, Quantum Leap, yeah.
I knew you were going to think that. That's why I deliberately went with the left field one that you weren't expecting.
Wow.
No, it makes perfect sense if he's hopping dimensions. It's obviously Sliders.
Obviously.
I would love it if he jumps into a dimension and suddenly Loki's Jerry O'Connell. That would be amazing.
What was the name of the... Is it Des? The guy who used to turn up with the little handheld...
Oh, in Quantum Leap, yeah. No, was it I can't remember what it was. Sam. It was Sam, wasn't it?
Sam, yeah. And he'd be like, Iggy says... Iggy or Ziggy?
Was he ill?
No, because he'd have like the little computer and he'd be like, Iggy says, you gotta jump again. Like, you gotta kiss that woman.
You sounded like the cat from those like Charlie's information films when you when we're in the 70s. Charlie says, don't take sweets from a stranger.
Look, my Sam impression obviously needs work, but...
No, it's great, mate. Don't worry about it. You're perfect.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I'm thinking that might be... It might be the precursor to what shatters open the dimensions. Or sorry, not the precursor, the cataclysm that shatters open It's the last TV series for a while, isn't it? So after this, they go back into the films. So you've got No Way Home, Doctor Strange 2.
Black Widow.
Yeah. Black Widow was supposed to come out already, wasn't it? So you can't really class that as... Because Black Widow was supposed to be out before the TV series. So I don't class Black Widow as that. I think Black Widow's going to do its own separate... Black Widow is effectively like the Joker right now of the MCU. It's its own separate thing on its own. But
sure.
But yeah, I think this might be... I genuinely think this series might have the catalyst for the multiverse of madness, like the thing that sparks everything off. I really believe that. I think that we'll probably see the villain for Doctor Strange 2 in Loki. Whether it's Nightmare, whether it's Mephisto, whether it's whoever it might be, I'm pretty sure it will be established in this. Because it does seem like he's going to different realities. Because obviously, if there's President Loki, as we've seen from one of the, all the badges and stuff on his thing. I play a game called Marvel Strike Force, and they just released an alternative costume for Loki this week, which literally says President Loki. So thanks very much, Scopely and Marvel Strike Force, for ruining that for me in the TV series. Now I know exactly what's happening with it, and I've just ruined it for everyone else. So blame Scopely, guys. Blame Scopely.
Do you also think that he will prevent his death from Thanos?
Well, here's the question: are you under the assumption that his death actually happened again? Because this is where the problem with time travel comes in, isn't it? Because technically, this is not the same reality that he once was in. This is now a separate entity where time has varied. So, I think we will see the world as it looks like if he didn't die.
Sure.
But that world is not the MCU universe as we know it.
I see what you mean.
Because it can't be. because that's what they made the very very clear point of saying, like, the Hulk did that whole, so Professor Hulk did that whole like conversation about how your past becomes your past, but then if you change your past, that past is no longer your past, it's now a different past, and and your future is now affected by your new part. You know what I mean? So like, they can't. It's going to be different. Which is which is again why I think it's all about different realities and different dimensions, which is why I think I don't think he's working for the TVA. I really don't think he is. Actually, that, you know what might be interesting? We're assuming that he's going to be in the TVA straight from the beginning of the show. What if he only gets to the TVA right at the end? Maybe the first half of the series is him trying to escape them before he's actually captured, and he does so much damage by trying to escape them that it causes this whole multiverse like collapse, basically.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Interesting. But then I also think he'll be doing the whole thing like Pompeii happened because Loki was trying to escape.
I hope not.
I think they're going to Doctor Who it in that way.
Oh God, I hope not.
I think they will.
I hope not. Yeah, I'm just going to say, okay, I've got the ultimate trump card in this. You know that.
Go on then.
You ready for this?
Play your card.
So you think that's going to happen? Do you?
I think it will.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Falcon's wings were nice, weren't they, when he came in as Captain America?
Bob told me.
What?
Bobby
told you. Did he also?
Bobby told me.
Did he also tell you that Falcon's Captain America would have no wings? Because you were wrong about that, weren't you?
That was all me. That was all me.
I need to find the Hugo Weaving as Red Skull "You Are Failing" gif and immediately put it into the chat. But yeah,
either that or the Osborn. I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yeah, as used by Tony Khan. That's a callback to something else, guys. Sorry. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, we haven't talked about Osborn and that potential influence coming up, and all the other. Like, do you think? Okay, so let me run through a checklist of things with you, Senpai, and you can yay or nay this.
Okay.
Do you think we'll have anything to do with Fantastic Four in this?
No. Nay.
Do you think we'll have anything to do with the X-Men? Or mutants in general?
Nay.
You don't sound sure about that one.
I'm not, but why would they introduce it in Loki of all things?
It's a Marvel property. Why wouldn't they introduce it in? Why would they introduce it in that as opposed to in, I don't know, Thor Ragnarok or Thor Love and Thunder? You know, you don't know where they.
If they were going to do, they would have done it in one division.
Would they though?
Yeah.
Why? What's the difference between one division and Loki?
She has more ties to the mutants than Loki did.
I know, but like anyway, yeah, fair enough. I agree with you. I don't think they're going to, but that's just, you know, it's a do you think we'll get some kind of MCU cameo from a larger star, a la Chris Evans as Captain America, or obviously not Bobby Downey Jr., but you know, someone of that ilk, Sam Wilson, Captain America, you know, anyone like that?
I think
Thor,
the Doctor
maybe?
Strange. I think the Doctor Strange one is probably the best one. If there was anyone else, I'd probably say someone from S.H.I.E.L.D., like, or maybe Lady Sif, because she's supposed to be still out there somewhere.
Or Sword, someone from Sword.
Yeah. But yeah, I think.
Idris Elba.
I think. Well, actually, use the Bifrost, so.
He's back.
I think the Doctor Strange one makes a lot of sense, not only for magic and such, but the fact that Tom Hiddleston and Benedict Cumberbatch are such good friends, like, outside of movies.
I appreciate what you're saying, but Benedict Cumberbatch seems to be friends with everyone, though. He just seems to be like, because he's really good friends with Tom Hardy as well. So like, it's you know, it's kind of
course,
fun. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the final question based around Loki, the TV series, is: do you think we will finally have the reveal of how and when Loki creates the mask as worn by Stanley Ipkiss?
That is the $1 million question, isn't it?
That's what I was waiting for.
I think there's more chance that we get to learn the time that there is a female Loki, more than the mask, I'm afraid.
Okay, let me just make a note of that. So, no Jim Carrey tie-in. Okay, cool, good. That's all the questions I had for you. Thank you very much for coming along today. I will be in touch.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. Imagine if we just ended the podcast there. Cool.
Imagined.
I think either way, we can both say we are very much. I personally am very much looking forward to Loki, the TV series. I'm very excited for this one. Like, I think I'm more excited for this one than I am WandaVision.
Wow.
Yeah, I've said it before on the show. I like when they go outside the norm of things, and they were doing that with WandaVision. But WandaVision was very much centralized around two characters that I kind of know a lot about anyway. Whereas Loki, Loki's a blank slate to me. I don't know so much about the character. And there's so many things they can do with this TVA stuff. Like, there's so many things. Like, I don't know whether they're going to introduce the Living Tribunal, which I won't go into because it's a lot to take.
Yeah.
There's so many things they can do, and there's so many avenues that this genuinely might open up in terms of, like, the wider MCU that I am super stoked for it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Rich D. Grant's Mephisto confirmed.
Yeah, I again, I'm not exactly hyped for this. I think I mentioned this before, but I am really looking forward to Black Widow, more so because I love spies and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to that more than I am about Loki.
I really hope that's on the poster. Yeah, if you're into, like, spies and stuff, that's what this is all about.
Here it is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's cool. Fair enough. Absolutely. Should we move on to the final segment of the show?
We can. It's we're doing this late night, guys. The energy is draining fast. Up. We need to keep it up.
What's a scale of one? I'm obsessed with this Hogan scale now.
We're gonna keep it. We're keeping that. That's definitely coming back in the future.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'll find some other Hogans. Don't
worry. Cool. So, what have you been mainly this week?
There's Bosco Hogan. This week, I've been mainly. Let's see. I haven't read anything this week. I've been really bad on that. But I have been. I'll talk about what I did on stream because it's about all I've done. I've been playing Resident Evil 8, and I finished it on stream this week. And I know that you are obviously. I know you're obviously an ultra fan of Resident Evil, Senpai. It's top of your list every single time.
Well, that's why I check in on a stream. I want to know what happens. Like, not all of us can.
Sure you do, cause you're at Brooke Hogan level right now. So I finished Resident Evil 8. It's a tale of two tapes for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought the gameplay was fantastically good in it. At first I was a bit concerned about it because it felt really actiony, like really, really actiony, and I was like, oh man, they're going back down to the old dangerous path that leads to Resident Evil 6, and that is not a good path.
Right.
So Resident Evil 6 is not. There were obviously, like, spin-off games, but in the main series, like, Resident Evil 6 is considered the worst Resident Evil because it just basically took the Jaffa and went all out action, and there's no horror elements in it. It's just shooty bang bang. It's not. I mean, it's got its moments, but it's not a good game. basically after the success of 4, where they remade the series basically and it became an action game kind of thing, they just kept going to the well once too often, and it made it rubbish. And then 7 came along and revitalized everything and made it about survival horror again. So Resident Evil 7 remains my favorite of all of them, and 8 is basically set 3 years after 7. It's the chronological follow-up to that, and it stars the same protagonist as 7. And it started off really actiony, and I was like, oh no, this is going really bad. And then it has a level in it which I won't spoil for anyone, so don't worry, I'm not going to do spoilers for this. But there is a level that all I will say is that you lose all your weapons, and there are creepy ventriloquist puppets.
Oh.
And that's all I'm going to say. That level sent the Resident Evil 8 skyrocketing up in my estimation, because it was so good and so well done. And then after that, it was like a nice mix of like horror and action. So the ending I had a big problem with, which I won't talk about here and now. But for those of you who knows what happens, I have a big problem with the revelations that appear at the end of that and what happened. But I guess we'll just have to see what they do next with the next in the series. I will say this. They are doing a bunch of remakes, and they have done a bunch of remakes. So they've done a remake of 2, and they've done a remake of 3. The persistent rumour that has been going around is that the next in line was either going to be Code Veronica or Resident Evil 4 to remake.
Right.
I have said this on my stream. I will say this on this podcast. Capcom, if you're listening, because, I know that you're intently watching this right now, please, please, please do not remake Resident Evil 4. Don't do it. Do not do it. Because I'll tell you what, Senpai, some of the main settings in Resident Evil 4 was a village, a castle,
right,
and an industrial estate. All of those things are featured in Resident Evil 8. All of them. All of those levels are there. Do not remake 4. It will be a massive mistake. Resident Evil 4 is this like sacred cow for me, which is it's such a great game. It doesn't need to be touched. You were limited when you made the original Resident Evils by the technology at the time. It makes sense to remake them, give them a facelift, renovate them, do new things with them. Fine. Resident Evil 4 still to this day looks great. Code Veronica looks like a POS. It looks terrible. It doesn't look good now. I mean, it looks fine for PS2 graphics, but it doesn't look good, and it needs a remake. It's begging for a remake. Sorry, Senpai, I'm going on a rant about this. I apologize. Either remake Resident Evil Code Veronica or remake Outbreak, which was a big, massively multiplayer game on the PS2 where you were all different survivors in Raccoon City trying to escape from the infection. And at the time, it didn't work because there was no dedicated servers to online play. Well, guess what, folks? We live in the internet times. Remake one of those two. It doesn't. If they remake 4, I'm going to be super. I personally am going to be super annoyed, and the Capcom CEOs will hear about it.
My word!
I will use my platforms to immediately say boycott it quickly.
Sabotage.
Exactly, but no.
E3's coming up as well, by the way.
I know. I'm expecting some form of announcement from Capcom about what they're doing next. But yeah, no, I enjoyed 8 a lot. The gameplay was fantastic. The ending was a bit disappointing. But yeah, overall, if you like the Resident Evil series, if you especially like 7, definitely play it. But yeah, it's a good game. It's a good game. What have you mostly been?
So I have watching bits and pieces. So I've been watching The Bad Batch.
I haven't. I need to catch up with that.
At the moment, it doesn't feel like it's getting better. It feels like it's samey. I'm still gonna kind of see it through to the end because, again, I've loved Filoni's previous work, so I'm just gonna ride it out. I also saw the new Cruella movie with Emma Stone. Interesting.
I just remembered what. No, I've just remembered one of the things I was going to talk to you about, like for an episode, a potential episode that we should do.
Yeah.
I'll say it on air. I don't care. I was thinking we should do, because I went to see Mortal Kombat, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking we should do our favorite worst video game movie tie-ins.
Brilliant.
I think that would be fantastic.
That would be brilliant. I like that.
I want to talk about Street Fighter and Double Dragon.
Amazing.
I'll add it to the list.
So yeah, saw Cruella. Wacky but fun. I think it kind of puts borders in place because it's a kids movie as well. Okay. So it feels like, I don't know how to explain it, but in a weird way, it feels like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where it's a bit wacky and messy, but you just kind of go with it anyway. As much as odd as that sounds about, a villain from bloody 101 Dalmatians, but
just go with it.
Just go with it. Enjoy it.
She's slaughtering puppies. Just go with it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's. Yeah. Anyways, in terms of my reading, so you will be glad to hear that I have ordered Hickman's X-Men, the trade of House of X and Powers of X. Yeah, I know.
That is what I wanted to hear.
So, yes, that's been ordered, so I'm waiting on that to be delivered.
For those listeners who do not know what we're talking about, by the way, I've read House of X and Powers of X, and I've been dying to talk to Senpai about it, and he hasn't read it yet, and he doesn't want me to spoil it for him. So I'm very happy that he's now ordered that book so that I can actually talk to him about it.
I don't know if you know, Dawn of X, is that set before or after Powers? I think it's set after. Yeah. I also read Spider-Man's Spider's Shadow, which is Chip Zdarsky's sort of what if story. I really like it. It's I only read the first issue, but I know I think there's another one after. But so far so good. It's no Spider-Man life story, but then I guess with Spider-Man life story, it was trade, so I could read it in one sitting, where this is, again, kind of breaking down into issues. So, but yeah, it's really cool so far.
Oh, that's cool. I need to finish. I haven't got any Spider-Man stuff. I mean, have you read Superior Spider-Man? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Right behind me. Just thinking of Spider-Man there. For some reason it popped into my head. I'm still going through Scott Snyder's run. I can't remember if I was talking about it last week, but yeah, I've been reading. It's basically the Jim Gordon Batman run at the moment, where Jim Gordon is Batman and Bruce Wayne's can't remember anything. Well, he can remember stuff, but he doesn't want to be Batman anymore. It's complicated. But I'm almost finished with that. So we've just had Mr. Bloom being just terrifying. So I need to get back on that and read it. But I'm very interested to see what you think of House of X, Power of X. That was. There's one particular thing I want to talk to you about, which is a revelation in it, which I won't spoil, obviously.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very cool, man. It's cool read.
That's interesting. I can't wait. It's something that's been on the top of my reading list for a while. And again, I think I mentioned last week, Swords of X, I really want to read as well. I've heard it's quite a slog to get through because, when it was being released in floppies, but now I think there's a trade available, so I can really sink my teeth into that one.
Yeah, nice. Cool.
Awesome sauce.
This is a late night one, Senpai. We did this one late night. You're going to be shattered tomorrow.
I know. But either way, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Also, a couple of shout outs. One thing we discovered now, because we're in the UK, we haven't been able to see some of the comments from people who may be in different countries, but we have found a way to see those comments. So we're going to do a little shout out right now to, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, IVD or IRVD, who gave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. They say, I love a good podcast that helps you increase your nerdiness. Keep it up. We will. Aww. We appreciate it. Another comment we also had was from Hairless Wookie. We will definitely be back for more shows. Mucho Bros in the nudo, in the nerdverse.
Good
in
Lord.
The nudo.
Hang on, Senpai, where are you taking this?
It's been a long stream. It's been a long recording.
It has been a long stream and a long recording. This is we're getting into Undisputed Nerds After Dark.
After Dark.
We're coming back with the Undisputed Nerds in the nudo.
But thank you so much for the comments. We really appreciate it, and the star ratings. If you want to shout out on future episodes, then please leave a star rating as well as a comment, and we'll happily give you a shout out on the episodes.
Unless we start getting like 500 comments an episode, and then it's going to be ridiculous, guys. So yeah, let's. But yeah, please by all means give us the feedback. We want to hear it. We want to hear it. Just give us a rating on the app as well. It's fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, where can they find you, Senpai?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, both at senpai_Zane. Links will be in the description down below. GG, how can they find you?
Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked. They can get to me at twitch.tv/gentlemangamer30. I am going to be streaming something new this week, which I will be honest with you, I don't know what I'm actually going to play there. I have no idea. I think I'm going to play Mafia. I think I'm going to do Mafia 3 because it's been on my list for a long time of things to do. And I kind of want to do a GTA-esque and talk like a gangster on stream. So that's what I'll be doing. You can also get in touch with us at nerds.undisputed@gmail.com. If you want to send us anything, I'm still waiting to this day for you to send through the fanfics of Senpai and Batfleck. Please, guys, if you listen this far through, you're obviously dedicated listeners to us. There's got to be some talented artists out there. Please send them through. Yeah, just send us any questions, any comments, anything you want to say about the show. Send them either on the usual platforms or on Gmail. And yeah, like I said at the top of the podcast as well, just spread the word. If you know anyone, if you know a friend or a family member who likes listening to podcasts, just ask them to give us a little download and listen. Just it'll help us out immensely.
Absolutely. Let's not forget, for those that are watching on YouTube as well, don't be scared to drop a comment. Also, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know every time new episodes go live, which is every Monday, by the way. If you didn't know, you know now. Every Monday you will find new episodes of Undisputed Nerds. Not forgetting the Otaku podcast. So if you're into anime and manga, you'll find me and my other co-host, Mr. Susu Day, which our episodes drop every other Friday. But again, subscribe if you want to catch up on those episodes as well.
Wow, look at him. He's already trying to break away from me talking about his other podcast. It makes me sick. All right. It's been a long one tonight, Senpai.
It has been a session.
It has, yeah. We've done a proud. Thank you to everyone who's still listening, and we will see you next week for a Loki review.
Catch you signing off, and catch you next week.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week. Bye.